I'm going to admit to something that may sound kind of funny, but as I was researching all of this and preparing for this conversation with you, it hit me. There is no memorial for John Adams in Washington, D.C. There's the Lincoln Memorial, there's the Jefferson Memorial, there's the
Mhm.
Washington Monument. And it hit me. I thought, wow, I guess it's never just sort of like, it was kind of an aha moment, I call it, where you just kind of like, duh. That's really interesting that, one of the founders of our country, first vice president, second president, son was the sixth president. I mean, there's so much there that contribute to the founding of our country and the values, and this has never been done.
You're correct. It's interesting. I had the same revelation when I was appointed to the commission. I didn't seek this appointment. It quite frankly came out of the blue. I think God has a sense of humor. Putting a Southerner, obviously, you can tell from my accent that I don't come from the North. I do not come from Massachusetts. But it is a great project. It's an American project. My belief really is that Adams is often overlooked for a couple of reasons. First of all, he served between George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. And George Washington was this huge, commanding figure, right? He was physically tall for his time. He was our commanding general. He was the father of our country. He clearly deserves to be recognized and honored. And then you have John Adams that served for a term, and then Thomas Jefferson came behind him. And he's this very, handsome, good-looking, well-off gentleman from Virginia. And his memorial reflects that same kind of, approach in terms of it's big, it's vast, it's huge. And I believe that John Adams was just overlooked. And so that's what we're really working on is how do we refocus on the Adams family, and we can go into why they're so important. But he nominated George Washington to be our commanding general. His was a nomination. George Washington was unanimously voted in. He was serving the committee to write the Declaration of Independence with Thomas Jefferson. He suggested Thomas Jefferson actually pen it. He knew that Jefferson was a better writer and we needed a Virginian to actually pen it. And then when it came back to the floor of the Second Continental Congress, John Adams was its most vocal supporter.